One of the things that really came through strong for me at my dad's funeral was just how empty life is.
Yeah.
Even a life well lived, even a life to be proud of, is just
Yeah.
gone, in a flash. And you know, soon the people that remember him will be dead, and even memories of him will be gone. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's life. Life is beautiful, and life, in a way, should be enjoyed. And as you say, it is already empty. It is already empty and free to be anything, to appear as anything. You know, all stories are beautiful, even when they seem to be disconnected somehow. It may seem as if there's another story of so and so, a story of so and so, but um, it's still just the totality expressing as different stories. Also expressing as somebody who likes a certain story, or also expressing as somebody who doesn't like a certain story. So it's just the totality expressing itself as what appears to be things, or let's say apparent things. There is no one there. There is no experiencer of just what's happening. Even though it seems as if there is a real separate experiencer, that as it is already not separate from everything. It's already everything expressing as what appears to be a separate experiencer who's living life, who's going through something. But when it is seen by just this, that there is no separate self, everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Even when it's not seen, it's still beautiful, because it's still just this expressing itself as what appears to be a separate self. But there's no real separate self who can go through anything. It's just this already, which is nothing. It is empty and free to be anything. It can appear as what seems to be an intention to do something. It may also appear as what seems to be no intention, you know. It doesn't mind the stories, because the stories are this too. It doesn't say the other, yet seeing the other is already is already this. So that's not to say when there is still seeing the other, that is separate from this. It's still just this, which is already not separate, which is already not looking for any liberation. That which is already liberation itself, expressing as what seems to be somebody separate. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Everything is beautiful, because everything is this. So this as it is, just this, it is already storyless. The room, the office space is just empty. It's already storyless. Yet stories may seem to come up, you know, as a result of the knowledge and the memory that I'm somebody who grew up in a certain location. I'm here in the office, but that's just a story that seems to be coming up there. But that as it is already storyless, yet appearing as a story. Or I can say the story itself is imagined by no one, because there isn't a real story. Labeling may seem to happen, like saying there are trees, there are birds chirping, there are people walking in the park. There are people also working to fix the garden. That's just labeling happening. That's just a story. But this as it is already nothing. It's already nameless. It's already not going anywhere. Yet in the story, it may seem as if it's going somewhere. There's somebody who's on the journey, who has a family, who works in a certain company. But that's as it is just empty. It's just a story. There's no one behind that. It's just also that which is no thing expressing as that. So this as it is isn't going anywhere already. This is timeless. This is empty and full for nobody. This isn't a thing. It can never really be pointed at, because even the pointer, even that which seems to be the pointer is already this. So there's already nothing pointing to nothing. Everything is this. There's no separation. So everything is beautiful. So the individual or the separate self can never really find what it's looking for, because it's already not there as separate from what it's looking for. That's what seems to be the separate self looking is already this, is already liberation itself. There's already no one to be liberated. There's just liberation. That which is looking for liberation can never really be liberated, because there's just liberation. There's no one there who's separate from it to be liberated already. So there's just stillness, which is already without any intention. Which is already not doing anything, going anywhere, crying. It is empty. And all these bodies are empty.
So what are you then, Nkosi?
Yeah, there's no Nkosi and there's no Charles. There's nobody here. There's no one there. And there's no here. There's no there. There's just this. And the question itself that seems to be coming up saying, what are you, Nkosi? Is already an expression of this. It's already this. It's this saying, what are you, Nkosi? And this as well answering, giving an answer.
So you are this.
Yeah, you can say that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can say, I'm a monkey.
I wouldn't do that.
You know why I say this? Because right where I am, I'm being surrounded by monkeys.
How big are they?
Not very big.
Are
Not
they?
very big.
What color are they?
They are gray in color, light gray. They seem to be like going around in circles.
Those are like the squirrels in my yard, probably. A little bigger, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, monkeys are just so exotic, and we don't have monkeys. There are no wild monkeys in America. Zero.
Wow.
They didn't make it over here for some reason. So it's just, you know, to be in like India and places where there's just monkeys running all over the place, it's just, including big ones, is just amazing to me.
Beautiful.
I mean, there's like no squirrels in Africa, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you probably, yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of monkeys here. Lots of monkeys. Sometimes they will come to beg for food. And if you don't give them, sometimes they will just take it by force and run away.
They're not really very sweet. You know, like a dog is sweet. Monkeys are not very sweet.
And it's very aggressive. But they are beautiful the way they are. You know, it's just they're beautiful. Yeah, stillness is already the case. Even when it appears that there is a huge noise, trees making noise, birds chirping, cars hooting,
You just accidentally hit the mute button. And Kosi.
so even when there is a conversation going on, it is viewed, it is seen from that stillness by no one. So every noise or every conversation seems to be beautiful because it is already being watched from that stillness by nobody. So stillness is everywhere present. There's nothing. Even in the boardroom, when there is a meeting, it's already there. Underneath every noise that is being made, there's just stillness. There's just that which is not making any noise. There's just that which is storyless and empty.
So what are we to do with these illusory lives? The problems that come up.
Yeah, I think they can be recognized that they're just illusory when they are seen from that stillness. Because usually the mind likes to identify a lot with the story. You know, when the attention is focused on the stories, on the labels, it may seem as if that is not seen, but it is always seen. It's just the shift of attention that seems to happen that make it seem as if this can never be seen, but it's always seen. It is always seen. From that heart space, the stillness is seen, and every noise coming up from that stillness, arising and dissipating, appearing and disappearing. Every conversation, every noise, every movement, every story, it appears from that and disappears from that. But when the attention goes up into the mind, then something may seem to be caught up in the stories, the compulsive thinking, you know, thought after thought, thought after thought, thought about yesterday, thought about tomorrow, thought about the family, thought about the friends, the history of the world, you know. When there is that compulsive thinking, then it may seem as if somehow this is overlooked. Yet, even the compulsive thinking itself that seems to be going on is still just this. But when the attention is there with the compulsive thinking, it may seem as if this is not seen, but that too is just this expressing. It is just a story. It is just a story. So from that heart space, there is that stillness underneath everything, or underneath every apparent thing. Their separate self is only a thought construct. that seems to be coming up from that stillness. It appears from this and disappears back into this. Yet there's nothing separate from this. Every compulsive thinking, every thought, every sensation, it's already stillness expressing. So when people are talking, they are not seen as different from this. It is seen that it's still just this stillness talking. There are no real separate people who are separate from the totality. Everything is totality. Everything is stillness already. Everything is this already. There is no one who's looking from behind those eyes. That's imaginary. There's no one to know this. There's just this. There's just stillness. Or you can call it intelligence. It doesn't really mind. This as it is already nameless, is already formless and empty. When the attention moves up to what seems to be the mind, it may seem as if there's just stories. There's somebody who is in the story talking about stories, who can only see the story. But when it goes back to the art space, it is seen that everything is this. There is no story. They are not different people. They are not different things. Everything is this already. Even when there's a conversation, it's seen that it's just this talking, this arguing, this disagreeing, not liking. So it doesn't really matter what's going on because everything is an expression of this already. This doesn't really say the other, yet the other, thinking that there is the other, is still this. There is no separation, yet a thought of separation is already no separation. Or is already not separate from this. So there's no one to find this. There's no one to know this. There's no one to get closer to this because there's just this. Or there's just stillness. There's just simply intelligence. Expressing as what seems to be a person looking for itself. And something may seem to come up, say, I'm looking for liberation. I want to find liberation. Then a question will arise and say, as what are you trying to find liberation? As what are you looking for liberation? And that question doesn't require an answer. So there's only liberation. There's no one to be liberated already. Thoughts can never be found. Even the thinker of thoughts can never really be found. Even the finder is already not there to find anything. There's just this. You can call it whatever. It doesn't really mind. It's every apparent thing. It's stillness itself. It's the totality. It's boundless energy. So this doesn't die. It's beyond birth and death. Birth and death is just a story. Death is like the taking off the jackets that you've been wearing, that is an old jackets that is been with you for years, then you decided to take it off and throw it away. So nothing really changes when the jacket has been taken off. You're still yourself. Still the essence, the essence. Still that stillness, boundless energy, recognizing itself that it has never been separate individual, or it has never been anything separate from itself. It has always been the totality, everything. So that recognition may seem to happen when there is still life in the body, or it may also happen when the body drops. So there's no difference. It doesn't really happen in the traditional way of things happening. It doesn't. There's no there's no difference. It's just a recognition that's there's just this. There's only ever this. There's never been anything separated from this. There's never been any story. There's never been you, them. Just like when you have a dream, and then you wake up, suddenly realize that, oh, it was just a dream. It seemed to be real when it was still happening. But now that I'm awake, what a relief. Being somebody who's separate from everything is just a dream. And there's no one to wake up this one. If somebody claims to have, if somebody claims to be awake, then that's still just a dream. There's no one to wake up here. There can be a recognition that there's just this. There's never been any separation. But no one can recognize that. Somebody claiming to be enlightened is still just a dream. There's no one to be enlightened already. Yet somebody claiming to be enlightened is still an expression of this as well. That's not to say that it's separate from this. It's still this expressing. Yeah, it is a play. It is a play. Just a play. It doesn't need to be taken seriously, yet taking it seriously is still an expression of this. There's no one already to take it seriously or to see it as just a play. That's just what's happening. And no one knows this because there's just this already. And this doesn't mind. Yeah, there's just whatever is happening that seems to be going somewhere, but it's never really going anywhere. It's just this expressing, this thinking, this trying, this giving up, this looking, this searching, this feeling peace, this saying, I love this. This saying, I need to go for meditation, to meditate. This saying, whatever.
Before my dad died, the night my dad died, he sent out an email to a few of his friends, including me, with this picture. Can you see it? It's very,
Yes.
very small. But
Yeah.
he said, I've been praying the rosary and studying the rosary for 40 years. And this sums up everything I've learned.
Wow.
And it's 500-year-old print, a 500-year-old German print, which someone has sort of colored.
Beautiful.
With the 15 mysteries of the rosary. So rosaries, prayer beads, you say them and you say the prayers, and then you think about these mysteries, which are just different parts of Christ's life or different elements of like
And
this.
it seems everything seems to be connected by that.
No, the roses are actually like symbolic of the beads. So there's 10 between each, and that's symbolic of, this is the directions almost for the rosary. You say Hail Mary, Hail Mary,
Oh,
Hail Mary, and then you think about the whatever the mystery is. And the
yeah.
mysteries, I mean, it's been a long time since I've thought about it, but like, I don't know, just different parts of Christ's life. The ascension into heaven, going to the tomb and him not being there, and dying on the cross, and I don't know, all these things.
Yeah, beautiful. You
Yeah,
can actually meditate using that.
yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's
Yeah,
what he
it's
and
beautiful.
that's what he did for 40 years.
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But it's just a little story and it's all gone.
Yeah, every path leads to this. Yet there's no path. It's just this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this can never really go away. This stillness is always with you as your own self. It doesn't go away. thinking that it's gone away is also expressing as that, as thinking that it's gone away. There's never not this already. There is silence underneath every story. Underneath every apparent happening, there is silence, undisturbed silence. Every situation seems to be bad can be used as well to find that undisturbed silence that doesn't get disturbed by anything. It doesn't get disturbed by any apparent story. Even the story that seems to really touch the emotions. This undisturbed silence is always there as your own self. It is the essence itself. It is unconditional love itself. It pervades all space and time currently. It is what you are without the idea you have of who you are. It is everything or nothing. It's already here. It doesn't go anywhere. From that, it is seen that there is no difference between the dead and the living. It is seen that there is no one who's dead and there's no one who's living already. There's just this.
You're on fire today, Nkosi.
Sorry?
You're on fire today. Nothing's on fire today.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for this.
Yeah, welcome. Always welcome.
I'll try to put this up on this morning on the drive on YouTube.
Okay. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Thanks.
Talk to you next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely.
Where is this button here? There we go.